Hey everybody, welcome back to TechOdyssey. So I'm back with my 72-hour look with the Google Pixel. What does 72 hours mean? Well, I've been using it full-time for the last 3 days, and I put together my thoughts and my impressions on the device itself. I've had my SIM card in it, I've been using it for texting, for social media, for burning the screen in all day long and testing out battery life, all sorts of cool things, so I can relay that back to you so you can get a look at this and figure out if it's something that you're interested in or if it's going to meet your expectations before you get ready to buy one. Because they're available now to pre-order and they start shipping on August the 20th. But before we get into this, I do want to say, if this is your first time stopping by the channel, I appreciate you being here. If you enjoy the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. Now let's take a look at the Pixel 4a. And here we are with the Pixel 4a. Now, $349, the only price you have to pay for this. There's no other size option. You only get the 5.8 inch, but it is an OLED screen, which actually looks really good, has good contrast ratio. It does seem to be pretty decent on the brightness. I don't really have any complaints. Being outside, it does seem a little bit more on the dim side than some of the higher end OLED panels, but of course, they're pushing a lot higher brightness on their panels. So with a 3140 milliamp battery, they probably just have that turned down a little bit just to make sure the battery life lasts, but I don't have any problem with that. Snapdragon 730G. Now there's actually two processors. There's the 730 and the 730G. This one has the G model. I was reading up on it. Really the only difference is that it's better for gaming. The processor speed itself, it's called an SoC, system on a chip. It has everything, the processor and the GPU, graphics processing unit, built in together. That's how smartphones work. Well, the processing speed is the same, but the graphics processor speed is 50 megahertz faster. Whether that translates into better gaming, I don't know. It works okay. It's not really a gaming phone, but the 730G is certainly capable of playing games. You can play Fortnite if you play it on 30 frames per second with like the textures turned down. You can play Call of Duty Mobile. You can play World of Warships. You can play PUBG. So it's not really designed to be a gaming phone. I mean, they have much higher performing phones for that you would probably want to consider. But this one is capable of gaming. So I just wanted to remark about that real quick. 3140 milliamp battery. It's actually an improvement over the Pixel 4 this last year, which had just over a 2800 milliamp battery and didn't last for garbage. I mean, it had the Snapdragon 855 with a 2800 milliamp battery and 90 hertz refresh rate. It was dead after lunch. So I had a lot of heartbreak over the Pixel 4 because I love that phone so much. But this one right here, it'll last you 5 to 6 hours screen on time, no problem. I'm a very heavy user. I don't have adaptive brightness on at all. I do have adaptive battery turned on. But the battery life is solid for me. It lasts all day long. So that's really nice. It's reassuring because I'm a very, very heavy user when it comes to my phone. I will leave the screen on. My screen default is set to 5 minutes before it turns off. It's just how I roll with phones. And it lasts me all day, so I don't have any complaints there. It has a 12.2 megapixel camera on the back. Takes fantastic pictures. People want to know about the camera, and I'm going to talk about other things with regard to this phone. But when it comes to camera, here's the camera samples that I took. I went out today into downtown. I took a bunch of pictures. It's cool. I took my family. There's a whole bunch of these little mural places. There's like a little centric mural place where we have all this graffiti art in downtown Houston. It's really cool. Went there and took a whole bunch of these pictures. You can see that the contrast is nice. The sharpness is good. You have all the accuracy and detail there that you would expect from a normal Pixel camera. And it looks really nice. I mean, at $350, you would think that this thing basically hung the moon whenever in the camera department. So I don't really know of anything that's in this price category that's going to compete with it. So if you're on the fence about getting a camera phone or a better, more expensive phone that has cameras or taking a look at the Pixel 4a, this right here should definitely be enough attestation to let you know that it works and it looks really, really good. So I'm going to take some low light samples and get all that in here for when I do my full review. This is a 72-hour review right now, just having used it for a couple of days over the last week to give you some general information about the phone and my experience with it. But the full version, there will be more in there. go ahead and take a look at this video clip and you can get a feel for it. I've got the camera set on 1080p at 60 frames per second in downtown, and you can have a look for this. All right, so this is the Google Pixel 4a, and what you're seeing is 1080p at 60 frames per second. It does have the image stabilization on, so as I walk around, hopefully it's not too jostly, but there's Minute Maid Park over there, and you can see downtown Houston, at least from one angle anyway. So I wanted to go ahead and test this out so you can get a feel for what the video is like. All right, so you got a chance to see the video clip there, also got a chance to see the pictures, what this is capable of as a device. I think that it's pretty good. What I like about Pixel is it's very true to life. It's very good when it comes to color accuracy, tone, and accurate representation of real life. It's not like the Samsung phones that are very oversaturated, that have these blues that just pop out and look amazing, and the greens and all these different colors that just fly off of the screen at you. This is very much geared towards a natural representation and accuracy, which is one thing I really appreciate, because if you get the iPhones, you get kind of that warm yellowy tone to things. If you get the Samsungs, you kind of get the blues and the colder colors, but also color temperatures and the oversaturation, which they're known for, but it looks gorgeous. You kind of have this, which is in a different world of its own. It looks very cool, it looks very nice, and very accurate and true to life, so I do appreciate that. It has a headphone jack on here. Headphone jack works great. It has stereo speakers. So you've got the speaker on the bottom, and then you have the speaker that comes out of the handset as well, which is nice. So it doubles as a talking speaker and also for a media speaker for whatever you're using. I do like that. It's not the most amazing in the world, but try and find a $350 Android phone that gives you stereo speakers. I'll wait. I mean, you can come back and tell me, but I'll wait. There's nothing in the American market that I know of that does that. All right, so 5.8-inch OLED display. It looks really good. It's nice and bright, and it looks really accurate. I believe that they're using a Samsung panel on here, which is good because Samsung makes good OLED panels. And of course, Pixel's had problems in the past when it comes to their panels because they've used LG, they've used HTC. They've not always been the best or the brightest, but for $350, this one I think does a fantastic job. Now, there's no wireless charging, there's no IP certification, none of that crazy business, which would be nice, but at $350, I would rather they invest that into the processor, into the camera, and into the overall build quality. I mean, you can see here, it's basically got an edge-to-edge display on it, and the bezels on it are significantly reduced over the Pixel 3a and 3a XL series, or even the Pixel 4. It's just a nice looking phone, and I wish that they had come out with something like this sooner. But I think this one right here is going to hit the reset clock for Google and their Pixel products and help kind of push them into the future. It doesn't seem like their flagship ones have really sold the way that they would like them to. They've even discontinued the Pixel 4 and 4 XL already, and it's been less than a year since they came out. But they just released this guy, and I'm assuming we'll see the Pixel 5 and the 5G variants come later on this year. But right now, this is what we have, and I'm really happy with it. They did take out the squeeze feature when it comes to the Google Assistant. I'm totally okay with that because I never liked it on the other ones previously. If you like that feature, it'll probably be a disappointment for you. For me, I'm totally okay with it, and it's probably another one of the things they did to drive the cost down. But, of course, you can say, okay, Google, and see it pops up right there. Hi, how can I help? And now it's reading off my text while I'm typing, stop. You've helped enough. So you've got that. You can just prompt it using verbal commands and don't have to worry about the squeeze feature, which I think is a win-win. I think as far as durability, it's going to be okay. It is made out of polycarbonate, which is a fancy name for plastic. This is a 3A XL. I used it for a couple of months last year, and then I let my son use it for a very long time. It's still in fantastic shape. The body is held up great. There are some little marks on the top and the bottom, which it picked up because it's plastic and it's white, so it has little Buden marks. And I had it in this case the whole year, so stuff can kind of escape in and get underneath it. With this one, they have the same cases that they sell, but you shouldn't run into the same problems because one of the big differences here is white plastic versus black plastic. These marks would not show up on here. So I'm pretty confident in the durability because that one has held up so well, even though a 10-year-old was using it for 6 months. In addition, We also have the fingerprint sensor on the back. It doesn't have one under the screen. It doesn't have facial recognition. I'm okay with that. I wish it had facial recognition, just simple facial recognition, but it doesn't. So at least it has the fingerprint sensor on the back. I'm glad it doesn't have the one under the screen. As much as I like the ones under the screen, these are just faster and more responsive. And I know that all I have to do is just reach back and hit it and it fires up. I don't have to worry about double tapping on the screen, making the little icon show up so I can press my finger on it. This right here works perfectly fine. As far as performance, like I said in the beginning, you can do pretty much whatever you want on it. You can play Fortnite, you can play PUBG. Yeah, they don't run the most amazing in the world, but if you want to turn the graphic settings and the 3D rendering down on Fortnite and play it on 30 frames per second, have at it, if you so choose. If you want to play PUBG and Call of Duty Mobile, those work really well. And then, of course, you can do anything else. One of the things I really like about this, of course, is the haptic feedback is really good whenever you're typing, so you get nice responsive vibration in the motor. Some people may or may not care about that. I care about that personally because most of the time when I'm on my phone, I'm typing. It's just what I do. I communicate all the time. And having Gboard, having the built-in Google Assistant, having the built-in voice command stuff, because what you can do with this that you can't do with a lot of other Android phones, when you do voice to text, it relies on an off-site third-party, not third-party, but internet server to process your voice to give you the words that you're trying to say. This one has the built-in capability to do it, which means that even if you don't have a connection to the internet, you can still use your voice to text, which you can't do with most Android phones. I'm trying to think of other things. I just like the phone a lot. This phone, and I was having a conversation the other day on a live stream talking to some other people. What you get with this phone is a really, really good phone at a really, really good price. It's no frills. I mean, look at this. It's just a flat, black, plain-looking phone. It looks very much like the original Pixel, which I think most people are fine with because Pixel kind of has settled in to their own design and their own look. That's totally cool. I don't think anyone has a problem with that. But $350, no frills, no crazy bells and whistles, but you get a industry-leading, top-of-the-line camera in this phone. You get Snapdragon 730G, which is a very, very good processor, 6 gigabytes of RAM, 5.8-inch OLED. If people say this phone's small, it is, but it's also the same as the iPhone 11 Pro, 5.8-inch. So I don't think that's really much of an argument if you're looking for things to argue about. It feels great in the hand. It's easy to use. Put a case on it. Definitely put a case on it because you just don't want to drop it. And this is not a plug for ESR. I just bought this case and it's the first time I've ever tried it, but it works out nice and I like it a lot. Now I don't have to worry about messing up my phone. I do need to get a screen protector. I've not found one of those yet. I'll go ahead and, like I said, I'll link the case in the description down below. I'll put a screen protector out there maybe as a recommendation. I don't have one on mine yet. I just haven't seriously looked too hard, but it's got a flat display, so it shouldn't be too hard to get one put on here. You do have that selfie camera in the top left corner. It does take good selfies like I talked about earlier, showed some of the pictures. I think I pretty much covered everything. Recharges with USB-C, and it lasts all day. This is a phone that there's not really compromises in performance, which I'm really happy about. I've been waiting for the 7 series Snapdragon processors to come out and make it into mainstream phones for a long time. Tired of seeing the 600 series, the 625, the 635, the 630, the 660, the 665. All of these 6 series Snapdragon processors had performance compromises. Now we have the 7 series, and even though it's not the 765, the 730G is very, very capable. It's very zippy. It's very snappy. You're going to get Google's commitment to the software updates, and I think they kind of update their phones for at least like 3 or 4 years. I think they guarantee 3 operating system upgrades, if I remember correctly. So that's about all that I've got, but if you're interested in this phone, you're not going to be sorry that you got it. It's totally worth the money. Yeah, it's only got a 60 hertz refresh rate screen. That's what everybody else has been using for pretty much ever up until like last year when they came out with the 90s, and now they've got the 120s. And you can go out and buy a $1,000 Note 20 that it's still only got a 60 hertz refresh rate. So don't feel like you're missing out not having a higher refresh rate. Most people won't care. It's something that I care about in like a flagship phone, but in a $350 phone like this, I could not be happier with the performance. I could not be happier with the battery life. This phone meets all of my expectations and checks all my boxes for a $500 phone. So the fact that they got it all in here, absent the IP rating and the wireless charging, at $350, which I think is totally acceptable, this phone is going to make a lot of people happy. There are a lot of people that go out and they buy a $100 phone, a $150 phone, a $200 phone every year, every 6 months when that one breaks. It never gets software updates. There's compromises. The cameras look like potatoes. This right here gives a whole new meaning to the word budget phone, and it's going to make so many people happy because they're going to walk in, they're going to grab this phone for $350, and then 2 or 3 years later, they're still going to be hanging on to it because it's just that good and it has that level of support. So that's all I've got on my 72-hour review of the Google Pixel 4a. My full review will be coming. I will cover some more in-depth things whenever I get to that, talking more about video and camera quality, low light performance. I don't even bother with the astrophotography here in Houston. There's so much. I live like 5 miles from the ship channel, and then on top of that, well, we get a lot of pollution from there because that's like the second largest petrochemical complex in the United States. So there's already that, and then there's tons of light pollution. I can see 1, maybe 2 stars on a good night here. So astrophotography for me is kind of a non-factor. But if you live somewhere where you can get access to a really untouched sky where you don't have all the noise and light pollution, the light and the regular pollution, you can take some really seriously cool astrophotography shots, and that's another thing about the Pixel that people really like. And it even shoots slow-mo video. So I'll go more in depth with the full review, but I want to get this out so we can go ahead and touch base on some of the stuff here. And this actually has been more in depth than my usual 72-hour reviews, just because I've been using it so much. I have been using this down in the weeds, hands-on, and really been enjoying it. So hopefully this has been information that you've been looking for. Hopefully this has been helpful for you if you're thinking about picking one up. I'm not a salesman. This was sent out to me by Google to review as part of the Team Pixel program, which is all fine and dandy and great, and I appreciate it because it saves me money. But at the same point in time, it allows me to get my hands on it so I can tell you about it before it comes out if you need to get some of this info, because there's nothing worse than looking into spending your hard-earned money and then you get something that doesn't meet the expectations that have been set. And I hopefully have been able to do that here for you today. So that's all I've got, guys. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them down in the comment section. I will get back with you. If you enjoy the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. As always, I appreciate you being here. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.